what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Scarfinger, and this is Scarcast. Woo, woo. We took a week off last week, and we just played online a little bit because really we hadn't done much other than play Destiny.
Right.
And to be honest, I'm still kind of about.
Yeah, last Thursday we actually had a almost an unplanned game night. It was pretty cool. We had a couple of fire teams going. Me, you, Blue, and my buddy Mach 20 were in Husky. It was 5 of us. So
yeah, and that was actually a lot of fun. That was one thing I would say about Destiny. Destiny is a lot of fun, but they need more people to be included in these fire teams. I know we said that for Destiny 1, but the fact that I can't play normal content with 4 people just really kind of sucks.
Right.
Because I was in the other group by default. Because of course, I never get any notifications from Discord, so I didn't see that y'all were already going to play. So when I got there, I'm the 4th man, and then Blue said he was getting on, and I was like, well, I guess I'll play the game with Blue, and that's pretty much how that went.
I mean, it still worked out because it still felt like we were playing the same game because we were, but it didn't feel like you know how sometimes we'll jump into parties just to hang out. A couple of us are playing Forza, the other 2 are playing Gears, the other guy's playing Battlefield, and it's like a big mess. But that it just still felt fluid because even though we weren't in the same fire teams, we were playing the same game, so it worked. So absolutely. I mean, and I'm cool with that. So
absolutely, and and the Destiny experience has been very, very kind of awesome for me. And then of course I'm playing on PlayStation instead of Xbox, which I personally, no console bias or whatever like that. I think that even though I didn't make the choice, I think that it was a better choice.
Well, I would say so since, you can play with me, but that's
what it was. My biggest issue wasn't like the extra content and all of this other stuff, even though I did play the strike. I did play the exclusive strike in the playlist one day when I was doing a bunch of strikes. But that strike wasn't enough for me to go, well, that's the reason why I have it on PlayStation. No, it wasn't that serious. But what made a difference to me is I had regular people to play the game with. I had, on Xbox, the people that I really know that are all about that Destiny life, they are people who have 1,000+ hours in Destiny 1, and they're all about leveling up so they could do the raids and nightfalls and all of that stuff. And I just don't care about the raid. I think at some point this time around, I will attempt one. I mean, I did attempt one last time, but it was after the expansions came out, and I didn't have them on PlayStation. I played with some people on PlayStation.
Right. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I would really rather, if we actually had time to actually reinstall Destiny 1 and just go through like Vault of Glass, just because I know that raid and stuff. This new one, it's pretty tough.
Well, see, here's the problem with Vault of Glass. That's the only one I attempted, right?
Yeah.
So I played, and there was a few of us in there, and then it was Pimp and his friends. And according to them, they had done this several times. But they were the ones that were dying all the fucking time. It wasn't even me. It wasn't even me. It was like, okay, Scarfinger and somebody else, y'all go on the left side. When we got to a certain part, there's the left, right, and the middle. And they were like, Scarfinger and this guy, go to the left side. And we were holding down our side just perfectly fine. It might have been like laid back or somebody, but this is like a good little while ago. But like, we were holding down our side just fine. And then they just kept fucking dying. And it's like, well, are y'all gonna fucking do this the way that you're supposed to do it? Last time I checked, y'all seem to care about this thing a lot. Y'all seem to play this a lot. You said you've done this raid countless amount of times and you can walk somebody through this, but currently I don't feel like anyone's walking with me.
The problem with this raid is, well, for me, it's so puzzly, like how that gauntlet part was like one guy gets sucked into this racetrack and you're to get through it, you're having to tell people what symbol you're coming up on and what number. If it's in the middle, they have to shoot the top and the bottom, but you can't shoot both at the same time. So the guy next to you has to remember they're shooting the bottom and you're shooting the top. But if it's the top, you're having to shoot the one that they don't say. And each time it goes down so you kind of have to remember which one you are and which one they're saying. And like, it's just nerve wracking.
Right.
But, and I know there's people that got through it, but and the raids are hard. They've always been hard because that's the nature of raids, and they've always been hard in ways like mechanics and things like that. It's just this one is just so one tiny mistake and you're done, and it's your mistake. It's not that everybody kind of we fixed this or whatnot. Scarfinger didn't shoot the bottom of them. Everybody wipes. Everybody.
So it's like the what's it called, the big band event or whatever it's called, the end of Rock Band songs, where everyone just mashes the buttons and then you're supposed to do the last part of the song, and then it always has whoever fucked it up is grayed out. It is like Scarfinger, that type of thing.
I guess, and then on I did the beginning, the gauntlet, didn't finish that with I did that with Nick Games on the Mind and some other guys. Mo Cub from Gaming Vessels was in there, but then I jumped into a raid at the very end of it as well with Sergeant Fire, some of his crew, and that was crazy too because again you would get sucked into this other world, and then you're being sucked into the guy's mouth, and then if I
guess someone would say pause.
Oh yeah, like spoiler.
No, pause. So you talking about getting into a guy's mouth and all of that, like
right?
Maybe that's a pause situation.
Maybe so.
Maybe.
But yeah, you would. It's like everyone sees something different on the dude's forehead, and then you say the symbol, and whatever symbol you don't say is the scion that you have to punch, and then there's all these ads around you trying to kill you, and it's just nerve-wracking, and whenever you punch the scion, that puts another barrier up so you don't get sucked into the guy's mouth. And
pause.
If you go over that barrier and get sucked into the mouth,
pause,
then pretty much everybody has to wipe.
Pause.
It's just so nerve-wracking.
Yeah, you're talking about getting sucked into a guy's mouth, and if it doesn't go well, everyone has to wipe. That's like a mega pause. Yeah, that's like a mega pause. Yeah, mega pauses all around there. Yeah. I'm gonna say that might be the name of the show, Mega Pause.
Well, the girl's name is Destiny.
Truth.
But anyway, but yeah, I didn't really enjoy the little bit of the raid that I played, but that's saying that I have played the raids and I didn't really. Hold on, let me move this real quick. I didn't really care too much for the Critter raid, but we got through it just for the simple fact that didn't have a lot of the things of auto glass. It was just kind of like run, the beginning was like run, and then all this stuff. But I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't.
But I personally, I didn't like the incursions in the division either, which are pretty much like the raids.
Right.
I really didn't like those. Like, super didn't like those.
I liked the Taken King raid. I did that one like a few times with there was not Vlad's hammer, but there was another guy named Vlad's. I can't remember the last part of his name, his gamer tag or whatnot, but at the start of it was Vlad's. But anyway, his crew.
I'm guessing by this conversation, it's pause.
Yeah, but yeah, his crew was like really good at the raid, but they weren't like assholes about it to where they were still about having fun. If you had to wipe, you had to wipe. I mean, they were all about teaching you how to get through the raid, and they didn't really care if they didn't get through the raid. They didn't really care. even though they were passionate about getting through it and they did know a lot about it, which was like a really cool, because it's either you're either with the guys who are really cool that aren't very good at the game, or you got with the guys that are really good at the game are like total dicks, which it's normally the second part.
Right.
But anyway, but yeah. I also played some Crucible because I had to do some Crucible for that Rat King quest, and I actually kind of enjoyed it. Like, I went in there with Surgeon and his wife, and another guy from their crew. I believe his name was Singer something, and we did a couple of the quick plays, and then we did a couple of the competitive modes, which that was, you had to do those for the Crucible milestone. And dude, that was like the most heart pumping thing I've ever did in my life, because it was kind of like Trials, to where it's like you only have so many lives in a round, and then you have to win like 4 rounds or whatnot. So but we did it. It took us like 20 minutes, but we were going back and forth to where it was like we won like 4-3. It was pretty fun. But yeah, it was definitely nerve wracking, but in a good way, I guess. But yeah.
I think Destiny should. I think I've always thought that people should steal the idea from Killzone, their Warzone game type. I always thought that someone with a better game should take that, and I think Destiny would probably be the best game to take that, because it's outside of like Call of Duties and such, it's probably the most mass market game that you can put a good mode like that in another game.
What is the Warzone game type?
Warzone, it's a first team to get 7 points wins. How you get to 7 points? It rotates game types for a certain amount of time. So there's a capture the flag type. Well, not necessarily, more of a place the bomb, defuse the bomb type game mode. There's a King of the Hill type mode. There is deathmatch and stuff like that. All of that is in one game, and it rotates. And so, like, okay, so it'll start off and it's just straight up deathmatch, and like at the end of the time limit, whoever has the most kills gets the point. Then it'll switch to King of the Hill. So you play King of the Hill. At the end of that time period, whoever has the most gets the point. And it's first team to 7, and it just keeps rotating that one. And there's one where it's kind of like a what is it? It's kind of like a, in football, a lot of people have different names for it, like smear the queer, kill the man with the ball, like that type of thing. But they have one, and it's like a propaganda speaker. And so, like, you get points for how long you are holding the speaker without dying, and your teammates have to protect you. It's a more of a, the captain of each team, like someone gets elected to be the captain, and you all got to support him, because the longer he holds on to this thing, the more it before the end of the round. And it's a lot of that. It's a lot of that but it's all in one game. And the first team to win 7 of those rounds wins the match.
Right.
I always wanted someone else to do it, because Killzone, of course, is a beautiful piece of crap. So I always wanted that mode in a better game, and I think Destiny would be the best game to do that.
Oh, so that was in Shadowfall? That wasn't in... So I thought you might have been talking about Killzone 3.
Oh, it was in Killzone 3. It was in Killzone 2.
Oh, okay. Because I knew that Killzone 3 and 2 are the ones that a lot of people liked, and not too many... Because I heard that... Well, I started playing Killzone 1 way back in the day, and I didn't really get into it, but I heard that 2 and 3 were better. And then I heard that Shadowfall wasn't the best thing in the world.
I liked Killzone 2 and 3. 2 more than 3, though. I like to, but I'm a single player person, so the single player story, and I did play some player, but multiplayer is not really my jam. So it was more of the problem with Sony first person shooters, and this happened with like Resistance and all of those single player, What they did was large amounts of enemies and very large enemies were like kind of their thing.
Mm-hmm.
And like, okay, like this is okay, I guess, but like at some point, like get to the other side of this level, but we're going to send 1,000,000 people after you, and you're just kind of, a handful of guys trying to get across to this thing. And, of course, in most games, if you have teammates on there, your teammates aren't really a help.
Right.
So that was the case. And then very, very large enemies. And it was more of a resistance thing than than Killzone, but very, very large enemies. And then the stories, the problem with Killzone is I don't know very many people who played the first game. And you go into the second game, and I've said this recently on the show, I think it might have been on Facetious. The problem with the second game is they expected you to have played the first game.
Right.
They don't explain shit. Like, literally how that game starts is they are watching. You start by watching the big bad guy who's in charge of the evil army, the Hellgast or whatever. Some Hellgast guy is making a speech, and they pull back from the speech, and you realize that your team is watching this on a screen, and they go, "All right, let's go." So y'all get in the ship, and then the game starts. There is absolutely no explanation of, if you didn't play the first game, which I don't know very many people who have played the first game, but they go into the second game as if you know everything that's happening.
Right. Well, I mean, I tried to play the first game, and it just didn't really grab me, so I didn't think anything of it. But that the second and third game were better. So
yeah, they are decent games, but they come with that thing where they're expecting you to know this, and no one knows this. And then also, there's a slight spoiler, but I've said it before. But there's a death in the story of I think it was in 2, might have been 3, but there's a death that happens. Somebody from your team gets killed, and it's supposed to be a major thing, because if you didn't play the first game, you don't realize that that's who you are in the first game.
Right.
And that's why it was supposed to mean something to you. But since no one played the game, no one knew why this death was supposed to mean something.
Right. That's like if Soap died, in Modern Warfare 2 or something, everyone knew who Soap was because,
right,
everyone played Call of Duty 4,
Right, but it's like if Soap dies and no one played Call of Duty 4.
Right.
Then it's like, well, why do I care about this? I love the there's a spoiler video for Modern Warfare 2 where it's like the shortest Call of Duty game ever, where you're in the training, right?
Uh-huh.
You start off and you start in the training, and where you pick up your gun, the guy just turns around, shoots Shepard, roll credits. It's just funny. I mean, you don't really see Shepard get killed or anything like that. It's just as soon as he pops off the shot, the credits start rolling. But that's hilarious. I found that to be quite funny. At this point, if you haven't played Modern Warfare 2, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Blue. Even though I've said this around you also. Yeah, and then the other problem that I had with Killzone is the obvious imagery and the obvious use of language. The obvious imagery, the Hellgast are basically like space Nazis. Like that's obvious imagery that they're trying to convey when you see the Hellgast. They're space Nazis. Let's be honest about it. And then I don't like that the characters have a slang term for the Hellgast. They call them Higgs, and like how they refer to them as Higgs is like, as a minority that has a term a derogatory term that you could use for someone who looks like me.
Mm-hmm.
It's really grating to hear them call these people Higgs. Even to the point to whereas when you get to the end of the third game, you realize that, that you may not be in the right on this. And if you and your team may not be in the right on this, then you have spent all these games calling them a slang term. I mean, they basically, calling them Higgs is the same as calling them niggas, right? So,
Right.
and then like the idea that you have been speaking so terrible about these people, and you may not be on the right side of this.
Well, are they trying to do some sort of social commentary thing, like Starship Trooper type deal?
I believe so. I believe so. No one does it better than Raises Hell. Raises Hell does that social commentary thing extremely well. I mean, extremely well. Just from the basis of it, like, you are a monster, and how you is you take up these colored plants, and you hit the plants, and then you suck up the pieces of the plant, and depending on the type of plant, that is your weapon. One of them is more of a machine gun plant, one of them is more of a rifle, one of them is more of a rocket launcher type deal. And then the enemies are all these they're all like these Care Bear type things in like armor and guns and stuff like that. And they actually speak like Care Bears, but they are it's kind of a reflection of the US, how we want to appear, but we don't appear that way to these things that we view as monsters.
Right.
As in the monster is basically saving the day. But these Care Bear things are attacking them, and they talk like Care Bears. They look like kind of like the Care Bear type things. And how you get your health back after you kill them, you melee them and smash them to giblets, and then suck up the giblets to get your health back.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about this while we were streaming, I think.
Yes, no one knows this game. And I had such a great time with it. I think eventually, at the time, I traded it in because it was around the time I was still trading in games. So I traded it in at some point, and I wish I hadn't.
I bet it's hard to find.
Well, it was a budget game to begin with. It was only $20 when it came out.
Oh, okay.
So it probably is really hard to get, but they should put it on. I would love for them to put it on like a Games with Gold and see what people actually think about the game.
Yeah, because I remember the first Darkness being really hard to find. Actually, it still is kind of hard to find. Sometimes you'll see it, and it's normally very cheap, like $2 or $3, but it's not very easy to find.
I think I have that in a box somewhere.
Yeah, I really like that game.
I tried to play it. It started getting me motion sick, so I had to stop.
Right, it does play a little weird. It has a little bit of a motion blur to it, but I liked a lot of those kind of off, like left of center type first-person shooters that were coming out around the beginning of the 360. That were some were more or less inspired by Half-Life and BioShock and pretty much pre-Call of Duty shooters that were like some really interesting and really creative shooters.
Right.
But,
so but see, the hard part about a game like that is to go back. Like if it was a good enough game to be worthy of a remaster, I think I would dig that, because even now that game still speaks to a lot of that type of stuff. I mean, of course, that game was very anti-George Bush regime or W regime.
Which game are we talking about again?
Raises Hell. I'm talking about Raises Hell. But like, if there was a remaster, like all of this stuff could still apply to Donald Trump. In his mindset, not necessarily what he's done so far, because so far we have avoided war. I'm not sure how much longer we can avoid war, but so far we've avoided it when it comes to 45. Right.
Yeah. For a second there, I was like, "Are you talking about Darkness?" I'm like, I didn't get that all. but anyway,
are we talking about the same thing? That's basically what you just did.
Yeah. But that kind of reminds me. There's a new game that's coming out that seems to be back to, because the first Prey had this I'm not talking about like the anti-gravity, like all that kind of like
Oh my
motion.
god, that shit made the first parade with the buttholes. That shit made me so sick.
But yeah, but the part that I'm like really talking about is how the guns were made to where they were like biological, like living creatures and stuff. There's this new game coming out called Scorn that seems to be inspired by that and a little bit of Doom, a little bit. But it seems like the guns are like very biological. Like you take it out and it would, like when you reload it, like you would have a shotgun and you would reload it and it would have like slime coming down. You know what I mean? That like it's not made of metal; it's made of like flesh. You know what I mean? And it seems really interesting.
That's not slime. That's snot, sir. Sounds like you're describing snot.
Maybe it's biological material.
So it's not.
Yeah.
Just saying. So it's not. Ooh, that might be a good show name too. All right. Have you played anything other than Destiny?
No, I haven't played anything other than Destiny, but I was really wanting, since it is October, to like maybe play a little bit of, kind of go towards like a horror. Maybe we could go back and have a Killing Floor night. That'd be cool. Just get in the mood or whatnot. But I have Little Nightmares. I haven't cracked it open. I got it a few months back, but Destiny 2 kind of took that over. But plus, I was kind of saving it for Halloween anyway. And then I still kind of want to finish up the Walking Dead ones on the PlayStation. I mean, I played through them on the Xbox and the computer before, but I do want to get the new one that's coming out at some point.
Yeah.
The last season or whatnot. So, but yeah. And there's always there's a bunch of like really good kind of horror gems like Until Dawn, and I got that Layers of Fear. Resident Evil 7 was really good. I haven't finished that, and kind of horror games are kind of where I started in gaming. I mean, yeah, technically I started with the NES, but to me, when I was like 5 or 6, that was like a toy. You know what I mean? It's not like I was a gamer. I didn't really kind of show any interest in gaming until I got the PS2. I didn't have any of the consoles or anything until I got a PS2, and the only reason I got a PS2 because I wanted Silent Hill 2. And so I played that, and I wanted other things that were like that, and it was kind of hard to find anything that was exactly like that.
I believe I played a lot of stuff, but until the Xbox, I was a sports player. I guess at that time you could call me a gamer, but I think until I was a sports gamer until then. Until the Xbox, but most people who listen to the show for a while know why I ended up with an Xbox. For new listeners, I'll make it real short. I got invited to a friend's house. They were playing Halo. I had never heard of Halo before. Another one of our coworkers told us that we should play Halo. I got invited to a friend's house. They whooped my ass. But it was really fun. So I got a payday loan and I bought me an Xbox, and that opened me up to different types of games. Until then, I played all the sports games. All of the different kinds of football games, Madden, NCAA, Game Day, the Microsoft games. Like I didn't play 2K until 2K5. And then but in between I played like Inside Drive, which was the Microsoft game, and all of the stuff, the Microsoft stuff, EA stuff. Like I was playing a lot of sports games.
Yeah.
And then Halo opened me up to more types of games, and then I started playing other stuff. Like I would not have even tried Knights of the Old Republic unless those same friends had told me, "Yo, you need to buy this game, and you need to buy this immediately." And then I had one of them spoil the big twist before I actually got there. Right, like an hour before I actually got there in my game.
Yeah, I believe it's about the same, because I wouldn't have called myself a gamer with the PS2. Even then, I was a fan of the Silent Hill series when it was. But I did get an Xbox because my PS2 ended up dying, and I had a friend that had an Xbox that really didn't give a crap about it, gaming anymore. So he was like, "Yeah, you can just have it because I'm just going to like throw it away." I'm like, "Okay." Right. And then because he couldn't sell it or anything or something. But anyway, I got that, and so the first things I got, I went to GameStop and we're thinking, well, people really like this, so I got Half-Life 2, I got Doom 3, I rebought Silent Hill 2 because that was on the Xbox as well, and then there's a couple others. I got Halo Combat Evolved, and all those were like super cheap. So because at the time that I got the Xbox was around.
You have to say Oxbox so people know what you're talking about.
Oxbox, when I got the Oxbox.
Yeah, the original Xbox, the old Oxbox.
But either way, when I got that, all those games were fairly cheap at the time. They were mostly under $20, and I had a bunch of trade-in credit for all my PS2 games and stuff. So
I sold. I straight up, when I got an Xbox, I realized I wasn't using my PS2 at all, so I sold it.
The only thing I really missed with the PS2 was because there was some more obscure Japanese horror games like the Fatal Frame series and stuff, which to this day, I'm like, if you want a really good horror game, you should play like Fatal Frame 2. It's great. But because the premise of that game is that the only weapon you have is a camera, and there's like ghosts, and the only way you can even see them is to look through the camera, and you would have to capture them at once it like gets to a certain. It has like a little meter. Once they get close enough, you'll take their picture and it'll do damage to them. So it's sort of third person.
I play games for fun. That doesn't sound like fun at all.
It's amazing.
That doesn't sound like fun at all.
But yeah, that was a great game. But Silent Hill and Resident Evil, I wasn't really that into the Resident Evil thing because it was. I mean, I like zombies, all right, but it wasn't atmospheric and like kind of creepy like Silent Hill was. It was more like there's zombies, shoot them, know. But but with the original Xbox, I kind of got more into other things like shooters and things, and I think at that point I kind of became a gamer, and that's why I got the 360.
You know what game I always wonder why they never made an updated version of?
What's that?
Dino Crisis.
Dino Crisis? I remember that, but I don't remember anything about it.
It was Resident Evil with dinosaurs. See, I stopped playing Dino Crisis when I started playing a Dino Crisis game, but back then, Resident Evil and Dino Crisis, they had fixed cameras. So once you go to a certain area of the screen, it would switch to the other camera. And I kept being in situations to whereas I was being attacked, but because the camera didn't move, I couldn't see what was going on, really.
Yeah, because that's how all those old games were, like the survival horror games. And then when they would be games that I can move the camera, I was like, I hate this because I can't control this camera because the camera controls were pretty terrible at the time. So I actually liked it when the camera was still because I didn't have to control it.
Yes,
like I got pretty good.
Thank goodness for Halo and Brute Force.
Yeah,
because without Halo and Brute Force, we wouldn't have the controls that we have right now. Gears with the cover system, of course, but Brute Force did the third person. Even though Brute Force is not a good game, I still think they make it just for the fun of it. But those two games really revolutionized console controls when it came to a camera that you can move around yourself.
Right, because shooters really was a PC thing for like ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I was for a while until my computer couldn't handle it anymore. I played a ton of the original Unreal Tournament. A ton. Of course, I liked Unreal Tournament. I dabbled into a lot of RTSs and city builders, and of course tycoon games. When my computer couldn't handle Unreal Tournament anymore, that's when I switched to especially the Sierra city builders and like Roller Coaster Tycoon and such.
Because Unreal Tournament like reminds me of high school when we were we had computer class, and some days we would have a free day to where we can kind of do whatever we wanted on the computer. All the computers had Unreal Tournament installed, so we would all have like just like kill each other in Unreal Tournament on our free days, and it was great.
Yes,
Like,
that happened to us when I worked at Gateway. They had like an area with some computers that you could use, and all of the computers had Unreal Tournament. So on our lunch breaks, we would hurry up and get something like Gene real quick, and then we would
mhm,
play, and we would all play Unreal Tournament for the rest of our lunch breaks, and all of our smaller breaks too. We would just go play
mhm.
Unreal Tournament. That was back when I was known as Black Vegeta.
Like, well, what are
And
some guys that are kind of in the
I
same
was
area around here?
wait a minute. I was known as Black Vegeta until I killed somebody in while playing at Gateway, and somebody a Black Vagot, and everyone found that hilarious. And then I had to change my name.
that's that's interesting. But anyway, I was wondering, like some of the guys that I mean, yeah, like like Shown Up and Blue, they're like on the other side of the country. But like some of the guys that are sort of in this kind of general vicinity, like One Extra Life, we should like just rent out some community center, and even if we didn't stream, we just
Well, the Raleigh Durham Guild, they normally do that for Extra Life.
yeah, I went to the one not last year, but the year before in 2015, and it was fun. I wasn't able to stream because everybody was hogging up the internet, and it was really bad. But I had a lot of fun. I didn't stay the whole time, but it was pretty cool. But it would be even funner or more fun if we all just like did like a little LAN party, because that doesn't happen anymore, and it's kind of sad because when you do go back and let's do this, you'll be right back there, and even if there's people that's never did before, that only like a 23-year-old or something that has never did a LAN party, everything's online. You know what I mean? If they actually went to one and actually felt what it would be like, I'm like, that feeling when you're like out playing tabletop games or Magic or something, that feeling that you're actually in there with real people.
No, I don't
You get
know
that same feeling, but with video games at a LAN party, and it's great.
I used to hold Halo LAN parties at my house.
Yeah, like we would. I mean, with Halo, yeah, because that was a big thing with especially the first game, because there was no internet with that game. Everybody that's one thing that everyone gets wrong in their mind. I'm like, yeah, the first Halo did not have Xbox Live. They're like, yes, it did. I was like, no, you're just remembering your LAN parties and stuff, and you're confusing it with Halo 2. It did not.
There was a tunneling system where it connected you to people online through a website. And you could play Halo 1 online in kind of a LAN party type setting, but no, it was all LAN parties. I never used it because like I say, I held LAN parties at my house, so that was always fun. I would have two, maybe three TVs. Like, I had a bedroom TV, my man cave TV, and then the living room TV, and we would be playing Halo on a 27-inch CRTs, and it was like the best time ever.
Right, yeah, because I think it'd be great if we just all got together and played some freaking Left 4 Dead. I mean, because if everybody in their brother that has Steam has Left 4 Dead, because it's been on sale for like $2 just about every Steam sale, so everybody has it.
I believe I have Left 4 Dead 2. I don't think I have the first one on PC.
Right, well, either one, because I have both, because I think they were in a bundle for $6, and I was like, hell yeah, I love Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's so great. It plays well. It's originally a PC game. It was built for the PC, so it plays a lot better, in my opinion, on the PC. And
yeah, but see, my problem with that is I don't want to use mouse and keyboard.
Well, you don't have to. It's got controller support. You just you got to mess with it a little bit, but it's got
and also I've never really messed too much versus mode.
Well, it's really cool. I never took it online. Well, I mean, yes, I took it online, but I never took it like with randoms. But with like I did play it a few times when we would have too many people to play co-op, and it's just like co-op. The survivors are going through to get to the end, just like in the co-op. Except some of the special infected are your friends, and it's great. Like, it's one of the most unique versus modes ever. It's really great. and I think it's still got a pretty good community. It's probably got a lot of.
I played a lot with friends and playing online. That was always fun. That Left 4 Dead, I think, is the second best co-op game ever.
First is fine, right?
Yes, absolutely.
See, I know you, but yeah, I'd say Left 4 Dead and Gears, just because I didn't really play Rock Band too much. But I mean,
see, the problem with Gears is until 3, it was only 2 people for the.
Right. I mean, but most of my co-op was just me and Amber. So, like anything that was split screen co-op, we loved it. You know what I mean? So, Left 4 Dead, we would play that on the Xbox, the Xbox 360, and then Gears as well. We played through the first one on hardcore, and that was just in the Halos. You know, we played through all of those on like that was back when we would play on hard difficulties. We played on all the Halos and Legendary or whatever the highest difficulty was. I think it was Legendary.
I think Halo co-op is better on Heroic.
On Heroic?
Yes.
But yeah, we wanted the Legendary for the trophies or the achievements because
the only problem with playing Halo on Legendary is I can't remember what the skull is. It's a skull in later games, but it's like one person dies, reset that part completely. Right. Yeah, that was a pain in the ass. I like the fact that you could, one of the best things about playing co-op on Halo is, especially Halo 1, is that when someone gets low, just get into an area where there's nothing happening, hit them in the back of the head, they come back, pick up all their stuff, let's go on. Kind of worked out for everybody. You don't even need to worry about a health pack. Just, all right, just hit me in the back of the head. All right, we got this.
That's funny. Yeah, we would just play it like we did like in Destiny, doing Nightfalls and stuff. Have one person kind of stay back a little bit. They're doing some stuff. They're scouting out the land, but they're not, rushing. But then you would have a couple people that's rushing pretty hard, so that last person is kind of your spawn point. So right. You can spawn on, you know what I mean, to keep somebody alive, and that's pretty much how we would do it.
I've not done a Nightfall yet.
Well, I actually that's another thing I did. I did the Nightfall it was for the Rat King. You had to do it with 5 minutes left on the clock. So I did it twice because the first time we didn't get it in that time frame, but we got the rewards and stuff for the first time. The second time we actually did it, we got it in the time frame.
Did you do the thing that they say that you should do and skip every enemy you can? Yeah,
we did that.
I saw a video where they were talking about like, if the way is clear, go to the next area.
Yeah, because which is kind of stupid in a way because I always felt that it was cheating the game a little bit because we would run past the enemies anyway in the other game, but then in a way I kind of wanted to shoot them, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So in this one, it's like kind of forcing you to.
You were so used to just killing everybody because it was mandatory. It was like, all right, do this, do this objective. All right, now kill everybody who's left. Good job, buddy. Like that's pretty much Destiny,
Yeah. So yeah, and on that one we did that, and the grenades on that one charged really fast. So we had someone that had the invisible grenades, so they keep chunking them at our feet, and we would just like run past people invisible like half the time. And we were just like throwing grenades at all the enemies, just grenades everywhere. It was pretty great.
Yeah. All right. I think we talked most of this time about games. Do you want to talk about a little bit? I don't have much else. I've only really watched one thing a couple weeks.
I watched something that you don't care about.
Okay, do that first.
Okay. Well, I had got a free subscription with this service called Verve. I was kind of interested in it a little bit, because for one, it's got like 9 different video channels. So it's got Crunchyroll, which is subtitled anime. It's got Funimation, which is dubbed anime. It's got the Rooster Teeth channel. So a lot of their kind of like special stuff is on there.
I only care about Red vs. Blue.
But
is Red vs. Blue completely done?
I'm not sure. I haven't really.
I watched what was on Netflix, and Netflix basically makes you think that it's completely done. So I don't know. I don't know if there was anything that happened after that, but what's on Netflix gives you a conclusion.
Yeah, you probably have to ask somebody Mach 20. He's into all that. That's like he's into all that kind of you know
And also,
fan fiction type stuff.
I don't mess with Rooster Teeth because the first time I went to PAX East, the Rooster Teeth were complete dicks, like
I heard
super dicks.
I heard something about them not being very good to their employees. With they have an anime. It's well, I guess I did watch some of that because everyone would be like, "Oh, you need to check out Ruby. You need to check out Ruby." And I was like, "Okay, fine." And then so I have watched some of it, but I won't talk about that right now. But but yeah, something about how in some seasons they were like something about some dude's wife, and then they were like they like blacklisted her or something. I don't this is I haven't really looked into it, but I just kind of glanced at it to where they started firing people like animators and stuff, and for no reason, and it was just not very good. But anyway, back to Verve. It has that, and it also has a channel called Shudder, which is all like cult horror movies and stuff, and which is kind of cool because Netflix has some stuff, but some of the stuff it's like I noticed they had one called Pieces, and Pieces is great. It's like if we're ever like together, we should watch Pieces because it's the stupidest freaking slasher ever, but it's so great. It's from 1981. It's about a chainsaw murder in a college, and it's just like the most campiest, awesomest thing ever. But
it came out. I was 2
yeah,
years old.
But yeah, it's on Shudder. But it's been hard to find. Like I was like surprised it was even on there. So I was like, nobody's heard about this, and like it's freaking on that. So, but yeah, it's got a whole bunch of like different channels in there for the Netflix basically. So I tried it out, and I watched a brand new anime called Gamers because I saw that it kept popping up on my Facebook and stuff. So I just checked it out, and that show is absolutely hilarious. Like I didn't think I would really like it, but it's really stupid in a way that like it doesn't take itself seriously at all because the main character is like makes all the most terrible decisions that you can possibly make. He was trying to get into this group of gamers that were like, this girl was trying to get him into this gaming club, and he was like, "This is the best thing ever. I didn't even know this existed and whatnot." And she was like the hottest girl in the school or whatever. And then he totally turns the whole thing down because they play competitively in the club, and he just plays dating sims. So he turned the girl down and everything. But it was, and there's so many like gaming references and stuff that it's just, they actually had a Destiny reference, I believe. Because there was one time one of the girls was like, "I hate this person so much," and they were like, "Oh, you don't really hate him." He's like, I hate them more than DLC that was cut out of the original game and sold to you for like a cheap profit." And they were like, "This is next level hate." But I was like, "Was that just a Destiny jab?"
No, I think that's gaming in general. Where a lot of the stuff that's sold to us as DLC is stuff that they cut out of the game.
Yeah, but yeah, it was pretty good. So and that's kind of cool that you can get stuff that's not really here. It's actually like it's like the Hulu for gaming, so it's stuff that's actually airing in Japan right now.
Right.
So that was kind of cool. But and there's a whole bunch of other stuff, and I did watch a few episodes of Ruby just to check it out, and I don't think it's that good. Like the anime. And some people might be like, "Oh, it gets better with the later seasons." I'm sure it does because it is Rooster Teeth, and even though that they have a big fan base and all, they're kind of just YouTubers. I don't know if they have like full training and all this. It doesn't look like it on Ruby. It looks like really cheap CGI that's really bad looking, and I don't know. I didn't really care for it after watching like anime with like really really good artwork, and then seeing Ruby was just like, why do you guys like this so much?
Right.
But anyway, I'll stick with it because I stuck with Sword Art Online, and I ended up kind of liking that, and I didn't think I was going to like that. But so I don't really pan something just at the first step because that's kind of not really fair to a series just to be like first episode. I'd be like, fuck it. If everyone did that, then nobody would have watched Stranger Things. You know what I mean?
Right. No, Stranger things really trafficked in nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reason why I never got around to it. I was going to, but I'm not very nostalgic. Like, I am nostalgic about very few things.
Yeah.
So yeah, it makes sense.
But yeah, because like the first 2 episodes, it was kind of like, all right, that's kind of cool. You want to watch another episode tomorrow night? Yeah, sure. Then we watched the second episode. You're like, yeah, that was cool. We should watch the third episode tonight. And then third episode, watch the whole thing. You know what I mean? After that, it's just it like picks up so fast. Like after those first 2 episodes, but so if everyone just because it is a pet peeve when like people dismiss things if it has a slow start, because sometimes you need that slow start to build characters. And then when you don't have that slow start, everyone's like, well, there's all these characters that I don't give a shit about. Why am I supposed to care about this character? I don't know anything about that character. But then I'm like, well, you just panned this thing over there that was trying to set up characters. You know what I mean? So, like, let something start. Like, you don't have to have the patience of a 5-year-old. You know, just, chill out and, like, enjoy yourself. And enjoy shit. Also, because that's another pet peeve. Everyone's like, "Oh man, that's cliche," or "This is that," and because I think Trees.
That's just the internet, bro.
Yeah, but I'm like, enjoy something every now and again, because Trees was talking about that too from Gaming History X. I mean, because everything does. Because that's why I don't like shows like what's it called, the Cinema Sins. Like, it's just nitpicking. I'm like, that's not reviewing. And
that's why you look for Cinema Wins,
right?
Or the Wins series as opposed to the Sins series,
right? Because even that, I like objective. Not you can't be completely objective, but like Cinema Sins isn't reviewing. That's just like making fun of movies for comedy purposes, and it's it has its place, but it's not a review. You know what I mean? Because the sun was showing on, you were in a scene and then they were smoking a cigarette and time passed and they were still smoking the same cigarette. That happens in every movie. You want to film a scene with someone smoking a cigarette? Go try it. It's really freaking hard. But anyway, yeah. But I don't even know what I was talking about. I went on.
You went on all kinds of tangents about stuff I don't care about at all.
Yeah, but yeah, Verve seems cool. Like, I don't know if I'll keep it completely, but it seems like a pretty. If you're into like more than if into just Funimation and Crunchyroll, that seems like, I've heard it doesn't have completely everything, but if you're vaguely into anime or whatnot, I think Verve would probably be a better buy because you get both of those services plus all the other ones. And Shudder's pretty cool too because it's got like cult horror movies. Right now they have The Evil Dead 2, which is great. If you haven't seen that, you should go watch it because it's great.
I think I've seen the first one, but I don't remember much of it at all.
Yeah, it's the best of like campy horror. Sam Raimi was that's like the peak. He was like the peak of like just practical like cornflakes and corn syrup. It was so good,
I'll take your word on it. I don't care about horror at all because I'm not afraid. Ever since I was a young kid and I was afraid of Freddy Krueger, I haven't been very afraid of this stuff at all. So I just avoid it because it's supposed to scare me. I know it's not. So what's the point of me watching it?
Right. Yeah. I kind of get that way a little bit too because there's a lot of horror nowadays, and it's 9 times out of 10 it doesn't scare me. I more or less look for the horror that's an interesting story, an interesting take, kind of like Cabin in the Woods or things like that. I thought Your Next was pretty interesting.
I think Cabin in the Woods is basically a really good spoof.
Yeah, and I really want to see Jordan Peele's latest movie, or his only movie, but
Get Out.
Get Out. Yeah, I haven't seen that yet. Because that seemed like it was kind of an interesting take on. I'm looking for things like that, and then I still like slashers and things. Just they're dumb fun. It's not going to scare me, but I'm going to have a good time. Watching freaking like Jason movies and stuff. But so yeah, that's kind of but you don't really get that anymore. You don't have the iconic horror movie characters anymore.
Do you realize you keep winding down like, okay, I'm finished, and then you start right back the fuck up?
I learned it from you, man.
I learned it from you. Every time I think that you're getting ready to finish, you're like, yeah, but here's the other point. Like, okay, fine.
but yeah, I'm done.
And that app
Did you like that? Did you like that?
that service that you were talking about, is it available on the consoles or do you get that somewhere else?
Well, I originally got it on my phone to check it out, but then I did notice that it is on PlayStation. I don't know if it's on Xbox, but I did find it on the PlayStation Store. But it's also cool that it actually comes up as an app that you can put in folders, which is good because I wish that they would get rid of that little, what is it called, where like Netflix, you can't move it into a folder. It's in like TV and video.
Right.
And you can't, there's shit in there that I don't have Amazon Video installed or Hulu installed right now, and the other like Crackle and HBO Now, but they're right here. I can't get rid of them because they're right here, but Netflix is there. I wish I could just put Netflix over in my other folder.
I understand that. Yeah, because I use Amazon, I use Netflix, and I use a lot of YouTube. Mm-hmm. Which they did change YouTube Red. They added a family plan, so it was only $5 more. So now I have me, my girlfriend, and my daughter on YouTube Red.
Nice. I liked YouTube Red in the fact that if I was watching Facetious or something, and then I decided I wanted to go look up something, I could go look up something and it would still play. It wouldn't turn off the video. That was the main thing I liked about it, is that it would turn off the video for
or like in my girlfriend's case, like she would do stuff like play music while she's in the shower, but she would play YouTube videos because she didn't have a streaming music service. Mm-hmm. So she would have to put it on like YouTube and let it play a playlist, but she had to keep her screen on.
Yeah.
So, and now she, she was seemed like overjoyed by this shit. And I was just like, yeah, I've been doing this since last year. But yeah, the fact that if she wants to play some music now, of course, the YouTube Red includes Google Music, but it also makes it so even if you are back on your YouTube videos, you can turn your screen off and still play the music.
Yeah, I did try out Google Music, so I did try out YouTube, because that was how I knew about how it played and stuff, because I was trying out different services. I was like kind of going through like a thing on Twitter where I was trying to figure out what service I actually wanted to use, and I ended up going with Spotify just for the fact of how it worked with the PlayStation. But YouTube or Google Music is really cool. I mean,
and also Spotify is coming to Xbox. Also, they're getting rid of.
Yeah, I heard about that. I was like, wow. I mean, because when I did have the Xbox, I mean, I know people. Oh, I have a question about that, because I was going to ask like Jay O'Malley, because he actually had it. Was it like Spotify to where you just downloaded music for free, or did you buy things on it?
I have no idea. So you're asking the wrong.
Because they were getting rid of it, and then if you actually bought an album on it, that would kind of suck if you can't access your albums anymore that you actually pay money for. But then if it's a service like Spotify, you can't really get mad. Like if Spotify went away, it's kind of like Netflix going away. Bro, you're paying for it. You weren't guaranteed anything. It was like, you miss having CDs? Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Well, but, it's so convenient. Here's part of the reason why I chose Google is because Google has a plugin for your computer, and it basically rips everything from your iTunes that you didn't buy from iTunes. So all of the music that you put into iTunes that you ripped, or, you had the MP3 and you put it into iTunes just so you have it on your iPod, it basically ripped all of that stuff and put it on their service. So I had like a ton of stuff on my computer. Like really, at one point, if I just went to songs in my iTunes and press play, it would not play the same song for 14 days. So that type of thing. So but and all of that stuff is in Google Music, and the fact that I had like Jay-Z songs and songs that are not available anywhere outside of Tidal. I can still access those through Google Music because it got those from my iPod.
Yeah, that's one thing about Spotify I don't like, is that there are some artists that aren't on there. Prince just got added. I don't know when he did, but when I first
they made a deal not too long after he passed.
Oh, okay. Well, I was really happy about that, because I was like, But yeah, it does sadden me that Jay-Z's not on there, and I do have Jay-Z albums on my computer. Well, I have some Jay-Z albums on a hard drive that my backup hard drive, but but I can't access them on Spotify. So, but I did like that because I could list my band's music was on Google Play because of the whole integration with that, which was really cool.
Yeah. So, yep. Only thing I've been watching, I finally finished Black Mirror. I watched all 3 seasons.
Nice.
Holy crap, is Black Mirror good? Like each story is pretty much self-contained. There are
Is Black Mirror the new Power?
I don't think it's the new Power because it's not a cohesive story.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I said on Facetious, it's the Twilight Zone where each episode is a self-contained story in itself. In fact, season 1, the one that I really liked the most from season 1, Robert Downey Jr. bought the rights to make that a movie, a feature-length movie. And there are a couple of episodes that are feature-length. They're an hour and a half. And they're all different, and they're all kind of technology based in some way, shape, or form. Some of the stuff you could possibly see happening in the near future. So it's like all of the stuff is not like that far flung from now. And that makes all of this stuff interesting.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't make, it's like one of the episodes, like you could, someone's getting on your nerves, like your girl getting on your nerves, yelling at you on something. You can press a button and you can block her. And what happens is everyone has these inputs in their eyes, and it basically grays them out, and you can't hear them.
Huh. So is it like Click with Adam Sandler?
No, it's a little bit of that, but oh my God, you're the second person in the past 2 weeks that have referenced that terrible fucking movie. But you can block somebody, and it's the basis of one of the episodes. One of the longer episodes is basically, it's 3 stories. And one of the stories is about someone who got blocked. Because there was a blocking thing. The first story, there was something that was blocking, that was used for the first time, but it was used as a real plot device in the third story. And there's an episode, and I won't say anything about it. It's on Facetious. There's an episode called San Junipero that I got really emotional, like really, really fucking emotional, like. I didn't cry or anything, but I wailed a little bit. Like, it was real. And like the idea of what it is, and like, because you watch the first part of that story and you're like, okay, so this thing is happening. And then like stuff starts happening after that, and you're like, what the hell is going on? And then you get kind of an explanation of what's really happening there. And it's kind of beautiful, even though it's foreshadowing like a motherfucker. Like, oh my God, it's real foreshadowing. I'm not going to spoil it at all, but there's foreshadowing like a mother. But yeah, it was a episode that I got really emotional about. There's only one episode that I didn't like very much, just one, and the rest of them I like quite a bit. Some of them take a while to get going, but when everything starts happening, you go, okay, so I get why you set this up that way. But the episode with the blocking, it stars John, and that episode that's one of the longer episodes. It's an hour and a half, and that is great. Like, it is really, like, these are, the funny thing to say, these are pretty decent films.
Right.
And they're all self-contained. There's only small things that are in the episodes where it's a callback to something else. Like like a guy has a laptop and there's a sticker from something that happened in another episode, or some guy in this episode is watching the news, and on the crawler, if you're paying attention, there's a discussion about there's a discussion about something that happened in another episode, like that type of stuff. They're not directly linked to each other, even though I think there's supposed to be more of a link in the next season, the coherent story, but they're supposed to all occur in the same world, basically.
Right. Yeah, like last time, it seems like it is a collection of short films that they decided to, that they got a bunch of directors together to make. It was like a Netflix short film festival.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, apparently this was a British TV show that someone at Netflix was like, maybe we should put some money on this and actually do this for real.
Right.
And yeah, but Black Mirror is really good. I'm even behind on Survivor's Remorse, and I really want to get through Survivor's Remorse, because once I get through Survivor's Remorse, I'm gonna turn off Stars until Power comes back. So, but yeah, if you haven't watched Black Mirror, do that shit. Like, do that shit. Like I said, there's only one episode of the whole series that I absolutely do not like.
Cool. Yeah, I definitely do it, because me and him would probably dig it, and yeah, and it seems like most things make me emotional. I don't know what it is. It seems like I get emotional when I don't want to get emotional, and then I'm like in a situation where like, hope nobody notices that I'm emotional right now. But then when I want to be, like, I remember like back in the day when I was in high school and I was like going to church, and everybody around me is like we're at some sort of like church thing, and then everybody's like sobbing and everything, and I'm like, why can't I cry? What the fuck is wrong with me? Like, right. I want to cry, but then all of a sudden I watch Jurassic Park and I'm bawling at freaking dinosaurs. Like,
yeah, I mean, it probably has something to do with your faith in those instances, but I do that a lot. Like, I get really emotional at I get really emotional at Buffy the Vampire Slayer episodes.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, I did too when we watched it. It's been a while. I mean, they took it off freaking Netflix, but whatever.
Yeah, I got DVDs. I'm cool.
Cool.
If I really need to, I do it on DVDs. And
see, that's another that gets brought up again to where like everyone says physical media is dead, but like, don't kill it, man, because you're going to be watching something that you really want to have, and all of a sudden it's not going to be available on those streaming services.
Yep.
It's not going to. Like,
my girlfriend started and was really into Prison Break, and they just took it off Netflix on the 1st.
Yeah, and then because you go into Best Buy and like used to it'd be like there's a whole section of drama, there's a whole section of comedy, there's a whole section of horror, and now it's all just everything's mixed in together in like 2 sections. I'm like, dudes, help this industry, because you're gonna want, once Amazon decides, hey, we're not gonna like. You can't just go download your music as much as you want anymore. We're going to shut down the service, so you better download it now. And then you don't have access to stuff I paid money for, which I have had happen, because there was a MP3 buying service called eMusic, I believe it was called, and they closed their doors, and anything I had, it's whatever, you know what I mean? So like, your Steam games and stuff, if Steam decides to not exist anymore, you don't have those games you paid for, man. Sorry. You know what I mean? It sucks, but it's convenient right now. But at some point, you're going to want those physical stuff, because you don't own the content that's on that disc. Even if you own the disc, you don't get to like use it in however you see fit. Like, you just own the disc, but at least you own something that you can play it. Because if you buy something digitally, you don't own anything.
Right.
You just get allowed to like use it. It's almost like the box,
Well, I mean, even the discs that you have, it's still just a license.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But at least just own something that they can't really take away.
Yeah.
Like the DVDs I have that may or may not be out of print. I know there's a couple of editions that are probably out of print, like the Criterion collection. Some of the Criterion collections that I have that I know you probably can't get. You might can get the Blu-rays, but I know the DVDs are probably hard to find. You know what I mean? I can still use them, but if I had that digitally, if they just stopped allowing you to download it, then I wouldn't have it at all. The only thing that sucks about a disc is that you can scratch it, but just take good care of it.
Yeah. Pretty much. All right, we need to wrap this up. I only really wanted to go for an hour, and then you went like super long about your fucking anime nonsense.
Yeah. Oh, well, there was one other thing I guess I could talk about, which is kind of about what we were just talking about, is that people were pissed off at Atlas again, and it was
Why?
because they pretty much put the legal ban hammer down on anybody using emulators for playing Persona 5 on the PC, because it was never released on the PC because it's a PlayStation exclusive, and they were like, well, I can use it any way I see fit because I bought it, and they were like, actually, you can't. It's licensed for the PlayStation, and you have to use it over here. You know what I mean? And of course, not everybody bought the game to play it on the. People are going to use ROMs and play it for free, which, you know what I mean? Which, I don't know. It's kind of weird in the fact that an emulator is actually illegal, but to use it illegal, you know what I mean?
Right.
Well, I guess an emulator is legal, like say like an NES emulator, things that the licenses have went out on.
It's supposed to be it's supposed to be legal if you own the copy. Like if you own the disc or the cartridge, then the emulators you're supposed to be able to. It's supposed to be safe for you to use that or something like that.
Right. If the licenses have expired, like on the NES, like you can make a NES emulator and play your NES games on an NES emulator, and that's completely legal. But is it legal to make a PS4 emulator and play Call of Duty on something that's not a PS4? You know what I mean? That's because those licenses are still active.
Right.
Like, why?
It's a big legal clusterfuck.
Yeah, in this day and age, YouTube and Let's Plays and emulators and things, and the digital age has took copyright into this weird limbo that's, I don't even know what the hell's going on. You know what I mean? It's like, because, I mean, I don't know. But somebody's got to figure it out at some point, because at some point it was black and white. You copy this disc and sell it or give it to someone, it's illegal. And now it's like, it's not legal, it's fair. You guys have it. I don't know. Because in the digital age, because technically, like, privacy or whatnot is back when they had, you could put something in your drawer and they couldn't go in that drawer and search it. But if you put something on the internet, it's technically not in a drawer. It's technically in the public eye. So you really don't have much to say about someone searching your email, kind of thing. And they're to like redo the whole privacy and copyright and all this stuff because the internet's different than a piece of paper, It's weird.
Yeah. It's all weird. Okay, can we end this now?
Do you want to end this, or do you want to talk about some more stuff that you don't have anything to say about?
I was done. I was done 20 minutes ago.
Hey, we can talk about this bottle of water.
I'm not drinking bottled water.
Well, I have some here, and it's got calcium chloride in it and sodium bicarbonate.
Okay.
But it's also got water, so that's good.
Okay.
Yeah, we can end it, man.
Are you sure? I want to be certain that you are finished, because like the gaming conversation that we've had, like the majority of after has been you. So I want to make sure that you got everything out, because I don't have anything else other than if I finally started my new job this week.
Awesome. So now you're like managing your own place, like, and you don't have to drive 30 minutes to work.
Kind of. On the second part, I just really walk around to the other side of the same building I'm on. It's really just walking around the corner. It's not even 20 steps away from my front door.
Right. Yeah, that's cool.
But as far as managing my own place, not especially. Because this is all dependent on them. They're building a new place. And this is all dependent on them building the new place. Well, he was supposed to start. I was supposed to work a week with him. And then on Monday, he goes to the new place. I stay here. Turns out they're nowhere near finished with that place. So basically, I'm going to be co-managing a place for probably another month.
Right.
So I don't necessarily have the power I thought I was going to have. Like I have ideas and to do to so that I can make my own rules and set my own agendas, deal with my own people, all of that kind of stuff, and not so much.
Right. Well, at least you it's somewhat what you were wanting.
You know, the main part about it is I want the money. I don't necessarily care about the power, even though every time I try to exert my power, it's almost like a should I be doing this now? You know what I'm saying? Like because he's still here, so should I be exerting my power over this situation? And then it's also the thing where this happens when you're an assistant a lot to somebody. People will call and it would be like, you know, like if I was in charge and, you know, you answered the phone and you said, hi, this is Chase. What Mike at? Well, give you. No. I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to Mike. And then they talk to Mike and they'd be like, yeah, I'm just telling you that I was going to pay my bill on so-and-so. Well, you could have told Chase that. It's been that situation all week long. All week long, it's just been like, yeah, can I speak to him? Well, he's not here. Can I help you with something? No, I'll just call back when he's there. And then when they finally talk to him, they tell him something that like ridiculous that they could have just and everything would have been perfectly fucking fine.
Right.
So that's been my week. But I work tomorrow. I now have my Saturdays off, which is good. And I work 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. I haven't had Saturdays off in at least 11 years since I've been in storage. Other than the time when, you know, I was out of work. I haven't had Saturdays off in a while, so that'll be fun.
I may have some weird hours coming up next week. I'm not sure what they're going to be yet.
Well, you know that
I can't really go into detail about why I have weird hours, but
you know the thing with the thing. His wife is going to be in Northern Virginia is on the 22nd, right?
On the 22nd of this month.
Yes.
Huh.
She's running a marathon on the 22nd, I think.
So Pimp's going to be up there too.
Yes. They are going to be in Alexandria, I think.
Yeah. He was talking about that.
Yeah, I always get Alexandria and Arlington mixed up, but yeah, it's in like 3 weeks.
Arlington has the cemetery and Alexandria doesn't.
Maybe.
I
mean, I'm pretty sure Alexandria has cemeteries. It doesn't have the cemetery.
Right. But
yeah, I'm still trying to work the details on me getting there. I know the marathon is on a Sunday, so I think they're going to come down Saturday afternoon and then do the marathon, and then they're going to leave Sunday evening.
But yeah, I'll get with you about like when I can do stuff. We might have to change some things around. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I may be working some like overnight type deals.
Okay.
So I don't know if that'll be on Thursday nights. I don't know, or like game night time stuff. But
okay, just let me know. But let's wrap this up. All right. So if we have nothing else to discuss, okay, sounds like we have nothing else to discuss. Okay. All right. So thank you everyone who's listening. I know that there's a lot of places you could be, and you chose to spend a few minutes with us, and that's awesome. Thank you very much for that. So for Chase, I'm Scarfinger. This is Scarcasm Live, and we're out of here. Peace out to
later.
I like that shit, yeah, boy. Yeah, I'm telling you, Whoa. I'm telling. All right, I ain't gonna talk.